In the video
The
today,
goal
I'm
for the
going to
lesson
talk to you about
today
how to
is
use
to use
Microsoft
Microsoft
Excel
Word
to create your
create
Spanish
a paper
Madlib.
survey
First,
for
we're
your
going to
project.
open a blank Excel spreadsheet
This is an example on the screen
and
of
just
the
learn
survey
some
that
of the
I'm going to
basics
walk
of
you
using
through
Microsoft Excel.
and create along
Then
with
we
me.
will create
You can
a
stop
smaller
the video if
version
you would
of
like,
the
and
example
split
you
your
worked on
screen
in the
so you
lab
can have
last week
Microsoft
when you
Word
came
open on
in
one
and
side
put
and
in
then
your
my
own
video open
words
on the other side if you
and
prefer
saw
to
how
work
that story
way.
was created.
If you want to listen
And then from
watch
there,
the
you're
whole
going
video
to
and
be
then
able
create
to
it
work on
afterwards, that's totally up to you,
creating
whatever
your
you prefer
personal
to do.
Madlib in
As you can
Excel.
see in my survey, I have the title of the
If you
survey.
could go ahead and
I have
open
the
up
required
Microsoft
fields
Excel,
that I'm asking you to
you'll have to come
include
down to
in
the
your
Start button.
survey
If
up here at the top.
Microsoft Excel
Gender
is not
is what
in
I
your
use as
most
my
recently
additional
used
field.
items here, you can go
I have
ahead
my
and
yes,
search
no
for
question.
the program.
I also have my multiple choice question, and down at the bottom is the question that I used as my calculated field
In the
or
list,
one that
and it's this green one right
gave
here,
a
and go ahead and
number
open
as
that up.
the answer. I'm going to go ahead and switch
When
to
you have a
my
new
Microsoft Word
spreadsheet,
and
it
begin
will look
creating
like
this
this.
survey.
Just a little
would like
bit
you to
of
create
the
the survey
basics of
that I
using
am
Microsoft
doing.
Excel. Your
And
spreadsheet
then
is
when you're done with
organized
the
in
video,
columns. Those are the
then you can
letters
go ahead
here
and
along the
create
top.
your
You
own
can
survey.
click on them along with me
So we're
and
going to
see
go
how you
ahead and
select
call
the whole
this
column.
recycling survey.
Over here on the left are rows.
Here
They
at the
run
top
left
in
to right.
Microsoft Word. And
Each
enter
of these
down.
little squares are called cells.
Type in
To
name.
move around in the squares or move around from cell to cell, you can
we'll
use
go
your
ahead and
arrow
hit
keys
tab.
on your keyboard. You can use tab,
I hit tab
and
a
shift
couple
tab
times
to
there
go
and
back,
type age.
tab to go forward, shift tab
I'm
to
going
go
to enter
back.
down
Try
again and
those
type
things out.
year in school.
Of course, you can use your mouse as well. Let's go ahead and enter some text into the first cell here. Each cell has a name, and it goes
And
by
it's up
what
to
column
you
and
if
row
you would
that
like
it's in.
to
So currently,
leave a
I'm
blank
in
here for
column
them to go ahead and
row
fill
1.
that in.
So this cell
or
is
if you
called
would like to be
A1.
specific, as we
And
talked
we're
about
going to
on your
type
electronic
Highland
survey, and
High
actually
School
give them check
in this cell
boxes to
and hit enter.
To write in. It's
Whenever
up
your
to you how
text
you
is
wanna
too
do it.
long for a column,
City,
it bleeds over into the next one. This may be
State.
something you have to deal with your legend today. To resize a
zip.
column, you'll take your mouse and put it between the two columns at the top. You'll get a
couple
double-headed
times.
arrow. And you can just
Gender.
double-click on that, and it will resize that column to the
for
longest
gender,
line.
I'm going to go
If you
ahead
don't like
and
the
use
double-click,
a check
you
box
can also
here.
just click and
You
drag
could
to
maybe
resize
put
those columns
just an
automatically.
M and an
You
S.
can use that same trick
You
over
could
here
have
with
them
the
write
rows
it in.
to resize them
I think the
up
more
and
information
down
that you
if
can
needed.
give them, the better. So I'm going to use
Down at the bottom, you'll notice you
symbol
have
to
3
put in
sheet
that
tabs
checkbox
by
field.
default.
It's here under the
If you
insert
need more
tab.
sheets, there
All the way over
there
to the
is
right, it
an
says
insert
symbol.
worksheet tab here that
And you
could
can look
add
in your
more.
drop down.
If you
and
don't
look
need all
for
of
the
them, you
box
can go ahead and
or
delete
check
them.
box.
And, for
If
your
your
Spanish
symbol does
Madlib, you
not
only
show
need
up
2. So
in
I'm
your
going to
most
right-click
recently
on
used
sheet
items
3
as mine does,
and delete
you
that
can go
one.
ahead and search for it under
You
more
can also
symbols.
rename these sheet
And
tabs so
you
that
may need
they
to change
are
your font drop down and go to a different one.
they have more
There's
explanation of
all
what they are.
different- I
So
mean,
we'll
it's
go ahead
endless how
and
many
double
items
click
you have
on the
in
word
here
sheet
and
1
look
down
for
here
the
at the
symbol.
bottom. And we are going ahead,
If it is
we are
in the
going
drop-down
to write questions
there.
down here at the bottom.
I'm going to go ahead and choose
And on sheet 2,
that
let's
that
double
little
click
box
here.
and, hit
And we are
space
going
and
to
type
rename
male.
that Spanish Madlib.
I'm going to go ahead and do that once again and type female. I know this survey is bare bones. There's not a lot to it. I didn't change any of my font styles.
Then let's go
I
ahead and
haven't,
click back on the questions
you know,
tab, and we are
changed
going to start
colors or
creating
sizes.
a mini
My goal
version
is to
of the
just get
example you did in
information
the
on
lab
page
last
for
week.
you, and then you
The
can
first
add pictures
item
or
on
make
your
it,
questions tab,
as fancy as you would like.
if you could go ahead and click in cell A2 and type this along
recycle?
with me.
We're doing a yes/no field here, so I'm going to do that box. Yes.
Not a name, proper noun.
And no.
And I'm going to go ahead and expand out this column
Go down
so
again.
that it's wider
What
to fit that text.
Do you recycle?
In the next cell over, we're going to use the borders
And we're
button
doing
to add a
paper,
place
plastic,
for
glass,
where
another.
people are going to type their answers in. The borders button is here on the top.
I'm going to use
I'm
a little
going to
shortcut
choose bottom
here.
border. And I'm going to
And
make
if
that
you'd like,
a little
you
bit
can go
longer
ahead
so that
and
space is
use like
wider.
copy and paste
Let's do one more together.
to insert those in.
Not a name, proper noun. And again, I'm going to expand that column and add a bottom border on the cell to the right. Okay, and you will continue with yours. I believe you have to have 10 questions on this tab. So you will continue down the page with those.
Entering in with me.
Now, to make your story work, we have to go to the other page.
Reusable.
And on Spanish Madlib here,
Shopping bags.
you'll click over here, and this is where you're going to begin to type your story.
Yes, no.
I'm going to type in the first couple things from your example. If you could go ahead and type those along with me, that would be great.
Reusable bags
we're going to leave this cell blank.
do you have?
Cell B2.
Instead of me
we'll
going
one
back
more
and forth
here.
up there, I'm going to use my copy and paste here and paste this list down at the bottom and then just replace the information. And you can do that however you would like.
There was an example or two in
Just
here
trying
that
to save
required
time. I'm
a
going back and
accent
forth
mark. The
up to
I
the symbols.
in this word, when that happens,
And in
you
the
can
end, we
use
need
a
a list
symbol
of 4,
to
and then I'm going
insert
to do
that
an
accent
other
mark. So
as
I'm
an
going to go
option.
back here and I'm going to delete
Okay,
out
now
that
that
I.
we have our survey
And I'm
on our
going
page,
to go
I
to
would
the
like to
insert
do
tab
another
here at the
survey
top
on
of my
right
ribbon,
side and all this white space.
all the way
just
over
to
to symbols.
basically save paper because you need to survey 25 people. So instead of printing
Symbols
25
can
sheets
be
of paper,
very
you can
overwhelming
shorten that
because
up
there's
by
so
putting
many
2 on
options. If
one
you look in
page.
your drop down, you have all these different
What I
fonts
would
and they have
suggest
different
first is to
things
copy
available
and
in there.
paste what you
The one that I'm
currently
under is
have.
called
So I'm gonna do a
Calibri. So if
Control
yours is
A
not
to
on that
select
list, you can
everything
go
on
ahead
my
and
page.
choose that. Over here to
And
the
then
right,
I'm
there's a
gonna do a
subset,
Control C
and you can
for
click on the
copy.
drop down and look at your options there.
I'm gonna scroll
Under
down to the
Latin
bottom.
1 supplement,
And I'm gonna
that is
click
where
and
I
put my
found
insertion
mine.
point
You can find them in
below
other ones
the
as well,
last
but
item
we'll
in
just
my
start with
survey.
that one. And you
then
can
I'm
see
going
there
to
are
paste
some
it.
words here with
Control
accent
V.
marks.
For paste. V
I'm going to
like
go ahead and
Virginia.
choose the I
Okay.
with the accent
Now
mark.
that we have this
choose insert
duplicated,
and
I'm going to
close.
go ahead and say
And
that
we'll
I
do
want
that
to
one
put
more
my
time
document into
over
columns.
here in cell C2.
And then we will adjust it after
And
that.
we'll
So I'm
change
going
the
to click and
second
put
I
my
here
insertion point here at the top of the
to
page.
have an accent mark
You
above
can
it.
do a Control Home to get to the top if you need to.
And mine showed
And
up in
under
the
the
recently
page layout
used down here
tab,
at the bottom.
On your ribbon, you'll
And I'll
find
do
a
that
columns
and
button.
close.
And you can say that you want to switch this to 2
Almost
columns.
finished. So how do we get the Spanish
Mine
Madlib to
just-
work? How
just
do we
by
get
luck,
the
really,
information from our questions
matched
to show up here on the second
perfectly
tab
that my
and fill in our
titles
story?
broke in the
It's
exact
all about linking that
correct spot
information.
and
So in
recycling
cell
surveys at the
B2, we
top
want
of
that
both
information
pages.
to link
If
back
that is not
to
the
what
case
is
for you,
in our cell
yours
on the
did
other
not
page.
break in the correct
To do
spot,
that, all you do is
what
type
you
an
would
equal
do
sign
is you would
and then
put
go
your
and click on the
active,
cell that you want
your
it to link
insertion
to.
point.
So I'm going to go over to the
Wherever
questions
you
tab
want that
and I'm
break
going to
to be,
click
I can
on
say
cell
I want it
B2.
here.
You can
And
look
I
up
would
here in
do
my formula
Control,
bar and see that
Shift,
it's saying it's equaling the
Enter.
questions sheet tab,
and it would
cell
break that
B2.
to the next side. That's
And
called
hit
a column
enter on your
break.
keyboard,
I'm going to do an undo,
and it will
I'm
take
gonna
you
do
back
that
to the
one
other
more
page
time.
where that
If you
information
need
is
to
linked.
break your survey in another place,
We can do that
you
one
put
more
your
time over
insertion
here.
point
We're
where
going
you
to type
want that to
equals,
break, and
go
you do
over to
Control,
questions,
Shift, and Enter.
and this
we'll
time
push
we're
it
going to
the
say
other
that
side.
it is in cell B3.
And I'm going to undo
We're going to
one
click
more
there
time.
and hit
Just
enter.
for looks, I've got an
And
extra
now that
space
information
down
is
here at the
linked.
bottom,
Let's
so I'm
try
going
it
to go
out.
ahead and delete that
Over
extra
here under
page
questions,
out.
we can click in cell B2.
And now I have
and you can
two
put,
identical surveys side by side.
whatever
Totally
you want
up
to
to you
try
what
in
you
there.
wanna
I'm
do
just
if
going to
you
put my
wanna,
name because I'm not very good
Take
at
some
Spanish.
time
I'm just
and
going to put
format your
Mrs.
survey
Jansen
if you want to center
and
your headings.
show you when I move
bold
over now
them,
to my second
change
tab
the color,
that I should
whatever
see
you want to
Mrs.
do. If
Jansen
you
in
want to
this blank.
insert pictures,
Right now, that was a
change your
very
font
short
styles.
answer. You can see
You
that
can
I cannot
do
see
more
my
to the
entire
survey.
name, so I'm going
But
to have
this
to
is
do
a
some
minimum,
adjusting here
and I
and
thought it would be a
resize that
guideline
column
to
to
get
show
you
that
started
information.
on
You'll
your
just have to
survey.
adjust based on
So if
the
you
answers
did not
of the people
finish
that
creating
took
mine,
your,
go ahead and do that
or that filled in
and
your
print a
Madlib.
copy for me. Ooh, actually, I would
Now
like you
printing.
to also insert your
Before
name
you
onto
print, we
this
need to
document.
know whose this is.
So before you print,
So we need to
if you
put
could
your
go ahead
information,
and let's
your
add
name
your name
as a header
here
on the top of the
and I'm
page.
going to add Mrs.
I'm going to go to the
Jansen,
Insert tab here at the top
Recycling Survey,
and over to Header
and
and
if you
Footer.
could put your name there
And
at
go
the
ahead
top,
and type
that
your
would be
name.
great. So when you print,
And
it,
then
you
I
know
also
that
want to
it's
do the
yours.
same thing over here on the Questions
And
tab.
then you are free to
I'm
go
gonna go to
ahead and start
Insert,
creating your
Header
own
and Footer,
paper survey for
and
your
again,
project in
type my name.
Microsoft Word. Make sure that you use that survey think sheet. Look at all the suggestions
I would
and
like
the
you to
revisions
print both
that we
of these
talked
sheets.
about.
We're
when
going to
I
go up
gave
to the
yours back.
File tab
And
and
I will
choose
need
Print.
you to print a copy of your paper survey as well, just one, so I can look at it.
and you can see
and
that your
staple
name
it
is
to
listed
your
here at the
think
top
sheet.
as the header,
Please let
and
me
you
know
can
if you
see
have
the
any
example from the
questions.
video. If you need to make some adjustments, this may be more likely on the second sheet tab. You can change your orientation of your page if you need to change it to landscape so it's longer that way. You can also go ahead and choose a scaling. If you need to force it to fit on one page, you can choose fit sheet on one page if those things are needed. And you can go ahead and find my copier in this room. It's Lab 228 copier, and click on print. Then go back to the home tab, and we're going to print your other sheet, the Spanish Madlib. You're going to go back to file, choose print, take a look at your sheet. If you need to make those adjustments on changing it to landscape orientation, you can go ahead and do that. Find my copier and print a copy of that. Please staple those two printouts together and turn them in, and then you can begin working on your own personal Spanish Madlib.